The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily represent those of NCTV, its officers and volunteers, or Cox Cable or Frontier Communications, their employees, or the town of Newington, its elected officials or employees. The producer of this program is solely responsible for its content.
Hey, can you believe this? It's actually autumn. It's actually October. This is October 1st. Are you?
I'm squeaking.
Okay. We're all wired up here. October 1st edition of Talk to the Mayor. The first Monday in October is October 1st this time. So we put together a program, figure we give it a shot. We've got a lot of great volunteers here tonight. But when I say give it a shot, I don't mean just give it a shot. The mayor, in his wonderful wisdom, and of course being the leader of the town of Newington, in his magnificent way of doing things, said, Steve, I'm going to get a shot on the air because it's time, of course, to get your flu shot. So I said, well, I'll do it. I'll go for it. So here tonight, getting our flu shots and reminding you to get your flu shots on the air is your mayor, Roy Zartarian. They call him Mayor Z. How you doing, Mr. Z?
Good, Steve, and yourself?
Good, and you took the directions of wearing a short sleeve shirt.
That's right. I figured what better opportunity to wear my straight out of Newington T-shirt than tonight, getting a flu shot on the air to prove to everybody it doesn't hurt. It's very simple, very straightforward, and really worth the experience.
Yep, so we're going to give him a shot and see how he does for the first couple of minutes. If he doesn't drop, then I'll take a shot. And actually, we should introduce the people that are going to be injecting us tonight. All the way over to our right, or to your left, our right, is Judy Sartucci, and she's the board chair of the Central Connecticut Health District. And to her left, my right, is actually, she's his boss, and that's Charlie Brown, the Director of Health for the Central Connecticut Health District. Thanks a lot for coming tonight. And both of you already have your shots already?
No, I'll get mine tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. So actually it is, you should go in October, right?
Yeah, October's the right time to go because generally what they want is for you to have that immunity right around the holiday times, in winter time, so that as everybody's kind of coming together, that you're actually protected from the flu. So getting it in October gives enough time for your body to produce those antibodies and protect yourself and your family.
All right. Now, we also, Mr. Mayor, you were talking before we went on the air about is there a new tick we heard about? Or
well, yeah, I saw something in the Current about some new exotic tick showing up. And Charlie and I were talking about it just a bit earlier. I mean, even though the weather's getting cooler, and you can verify this, ticks are still out there.
Absolutely.
And even the dog ticks now are no longer something to ignore because they carry their own set of diseases other than Lyme that the little deer ticks carry. And I have to admit that years ago I gave up hunting after coming in from a day out in the Glastonbury woods, got in the garage, noticed everything on my jacket was moving.
Really?
And I closed the garage door, and every bit of clothing went into a garbage bag, and that was it.
Oof, wow.
That was it. Hated like heck to give up that jacket, but nah.
Hated to give up the jacket, and we're glad that she gave up the hunting. I'm glad those ticks forced you into that.
I couldn't shoot them because they were on me, But
not good at all.
Always good. He did the right thing. Always good coming in from the woods to do a tick check.
Oh.
Yeah.
Make sure that you don't have any ticks on you, yourself, your kids, your animals as well.
Okay, now if you do have a tick, what should you do?
Okay, well, generally you want to go ahead and remove it, to make sure that it's not embedded as far as that's concerned. And if it is a deer tick or something along those lines, you can actually send it into the health district, and we will send it off to the agricultural station to be tested.
Oh, that's good.
So for those ticks that actually are embedded on you or have actually bitten you, if you have that tick, we can send it in for testing, and we do that at no charge.
Ah, that's
so
good.
that if for some reason you have, it comes back positive for Lyme or or another disease, we can inform you, and then you can seek the proper treatment.
Now, with the deer tick, I remember the very first deer tick I ever had. The treatment protocol was massive doses of antibiotics for about 10 to 12 days. Is that still the case?
It's usually about a 10-day antibiotic regimen as far as that's concerned, and that'll vary depending upon what exactly they're treating against. So it always, once you have that tick tested and you can identify really what pathogen you're dealing with, that's when you really need to go to the medical provider so that they can treat you appropriately.
Okay, so now this is after you've determined that it's some sort of...
That's a tick that you need to be concerned about. There's a lot of times that we at the health district will actually get dog ticks, things like that may not be a potential carrier for human disease. So what we do is we'll get that information and we'll pass that information on to you. One of the things that the agricultural station is really good about is identification of the species and types of ticks, and then they can tell you basically what type of disease they could potentially carry. With dog ticks, it's not something that generally they're carrying human diseases that's really going to be of concern. It's really a lot of the deer ticks specifically that we're really concerned about at this point. So as we said, biggest thing that you can do is prevention on the individual level, making sure that you're doing that tick check when you're coming in from the outdoors, and really making sure that you're showering and doing all the right things when you come inside. The less time that tick has to be on you, the less time the potential for them to actually transmit a disease.
If you're just joining us right now, welcome to TikTok. We're with the folks from the
TikTok, Hickory Dock.
We're here with the folks from the Central Connecticut Health District. Judy Sartucci, who's the board chair of the Central Connecticut Health District, and of course we got Charlie Brown here. He's been on the program before. Welcome back. The director of Health, Central Connecticut Health District, and again, Judy, thank you. I'm stalling as long as I can because I figure if we talk to them enough about ticks, we're not getting a needle tonight. What are the parameters? Who should everybody get a flu shot, or how does it vary age-wise?
Really, they recommend, CDC recommends everybody 6 months and older can get a flu shot. Generally, at our flu clinics that we do for our 4 towns, we give shots 4 years and above. Really, because if they're under 4 years in a mass setting, it's probably not the best setting for a child that young to be getting a flu shot. So we really kind of nudge them towards the pediatricians in that case.
Yeah.
But if they're 4 years old and above, they can come to our mass vaccination clinics. We do about over 2,000 flu shots every year, and we want to see that increase. So that's one of the reasons why we're here today, is really talk about the benefits of flu vaccination and really kind of answer any questions that you may have as far as that's concerned. And then also, we can get 2 done today. So that's a good start.
That's good. In fact, Scott Allo and John Donahue are volunteering to. I think we're the 2 suckers on this.
You got to hit where the talent is.
Abby. Okay, come on, Abby.
Yes, Abby the dog is
grab her, Abby.
checking out all the medical equipment.
Ab, come here. Come on, Ab, hurry up. Abby, okay, she heard about the ticks. Come on. You're all good. You're all good. Yeah, see, what we did was, Abby is in here. Everybody knows we bring her. And especially, when you're checking for ticks, we do that all the time, don't we? And we did pretty good. What about as far as the kind of things you should be getting from your vet? Can you comment on that? Because I know there's 2 or 3 different...
That's a little bit outside of our area
Frontline is the traditional...
I would always recommend going to a veterinary professional and let them give the right application.
A lot of times I go there for my shots. Can you save a couple of bucks by going to the vet? I have a tendency to...
I am not going to comment on that.
You dog, you.
The vets in our area are very good, and they're very well versed.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because they say when you, no matter what you're doing, I mean, basically it's poison for the ticks. So it's not the best thing for the dogs. And some people say try to go natural, but then they've got the oils you can put on, you got the pills you could take.
Yeah, the front line has been a standard. You just put a dab once a month right between the shoulders.
Let me see. Did you put that dab between your shoulders?
Yes, I did, and I got the prescription refilled when I got my rabies and distemper shots.
Now, what about, is there an age where you need to get, as you get older, is it pretty much still the same flu shot, or does that change as you get older? And when should you get the pneumonia shot?
Well, the flu shots, let's address that first. So there's two really basic types of flu shot. There's a trivalent vaccine and there's a quadrivalent vaccine. The trivalent vaccine basically covers 3 different types of flu. And then the quadrivalent with quad covers 4. So generally the types of flu shots that we give at our clinics are going to be the quadrivalent. And the reason for that is that we want to have a broader coverage for the viruses that you could potentially come and be exposed with. So the types of viruses that they cover this year, they have the H1N1 virus that was caused the pandemic back in 2009, the H3N2 virus that was such a problem last year, and then they have 2 variations of the influenza B virus that are in the quadrivalent vaccine. So that's the shots that we're going to be giving you today. Now there are some manufacturers that do what they call a high-dose vaccine. And mostly doctors carry that, dealing with some older patients that may be immunocompromised or may need a little booster as far as that's concerned to have their immune system pick up the antibodies. So we generally don't carry that. We know, we've seen that from the studies that the broad spectrum generally has enough production for antibodies to provide you the protection you need through the season.
All right, for people that are joining us, I just want to point out we are going to be getting our flu shots tonight, and I guess we should get ready for that, Mr. Mayor. I want to let you know, though, you can text us, all right? So if you have a question about this and you'd like us to address one of our guests. Lately, the text has been working much better because sometimes technically it's a little tricky with the phone calls. So you can still call us and give Vicki your question, 860-667-5814. 5814, did I get that right? 667-5814 if you need to give us a call, 860-667-5814. All right. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. And by the way, right now, we're going to probably be holding on the text for a little bit, okay? And then we'll give out that in just a bit. All right. Well, Mr. Mayor, I got to ask you, though, before we do that, Judy, are you qualified to do this? I mean, I know I think you're the board chair of the Central Connecticut Health District.
I'm a registered nurse.
Okay, all right.
I'm a retired family nurse practitioner.
Really?
Other things, and most of my experience really has been public health.
Okay, great.
I think just before we get into the actual inoculation, we ought to talk about where and when people can get flu shots in the flu shot program that the health district is running this year.
Yep. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As I mentioned, we actually give about over 2,000 flu shots. Here in Newington this year, all of our flu shots are in October. And we actually have 3 opportunities in Newington to provide flu shots. The first is actually going to be this coming Wednesday on October 3rd from 9 to 12 at the Newington Senior and Disabled Center here on 120 Cedar Street. We also have another clinic, same place, on October 16th, and that one's from 2:30 to 6 o'clock. So it'll actually be a little bit more convenient for folks picking up their kids, doing some running around.
Coming home from work and.
Yep, and being able to make it to the flu clinic. The big one that we really want to let people know about today is on October 13th. That's a Saturday.
Okay.
And we're going to be giving flu shots at the Newington High School from 9 to 12. And what we do every year is we actually use our opportunity for our flu clinics to test our preparedness plans. So we plan to make sure that we can actually take care and give everybody a shot, like if we had a flu pandemic. So we plan to give all the shots to everybody so that we could protect the entire community. Do that for every clinic. This particular clinic on Saturday 13th, would be the actual location where we would have that point of dispensing clinic. So we're going to be using it to really test our opportunities to be able to see how many people we can get to go through, how many people our nurses can actually inject at a particular time frame. So this is a very important clinic. So I urge all of you that if you can make it to a clinic this year, making it to that one on Saturday would really help us out because it'll be able to test our plans effectively. So having a critical mass of people really does make a difference.
Okay, and for those people who can't make it to these places, are you still good to like run to CVS and get one, Stop and Shop and all those places?
Oh yeah, I mean, we want.
Seems like everybody. Excuse me. It seems like everybody does them. So is there a difference?
No, there's not really a difference. I mean, we do this because we want to provide the service to the community. We want to be able to test our plans. But overall, there's a lot of opportunities to be able to get your flu shot. So our main message is if you can get a flu shot, do so because you're going to protect yourself, your family, and the community. So the more people that we have with flu shots, the more we have what they call herd immunity. So everybody's protected so that that virus can't really get a hold within the community.
Okay, I got you.
So the more people that have that flu shot, that means you're protecting the people that can't get a flu shot because it really can't get a hold within the community and really affect that vulnerable population.
And you said herd, like
a big herd.
a herd of cattle. First I thought he said hurt, and I went, wait a minute, no pain.
No, that's coming. That's coming.
Okay. So a herd immunity is what they call it. So just like a herd protects each other, they protect the vulnerable members of the herd. By having your flu shot, we are protecting the entire community. So you really, a lot of people, they say, well, I never get sick, so I really don't need a flu shot. Well, it's not necessarily just yourself that you're worried about because if you protect yourself, then you're not going to become that person that can carry that virus to somebody who can't.
Judy, you want to add something?
Yeah, I was going to say, many people who say, well, I've never had the flu, I don't know why I should get a flu shot. A lot of times, they are probably the beneficiaries of the herd immunity, of people around them consistently being vaccinated.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of times it comes down to a sense of fairness, too.
Okay, now when we see, when we see these antiseptic things, wash your hands with that, what's the feeling on that? I mean, when you're walking through and you go to the store, and some people have different feelings about whether or not certain kinds are good or whether or not you should, I don't know.
Well, all the time. I mean, some of the basic things that you can do to protect yourself from being sick from anything, flu, cold viruses, are really some basic protections. So washing your hands, making sure that you're not moving your hands to your mouth or to the nose, because if you're picking up viruses from surfaces, that's how you're going to get it into the respiratory system, which is where that virus really starts to replicate. So making sure that you wash your hands often, staying home if you're sick is a basic precaution. So that if you're sick, stay home until you feel better and you're not contagious.
Yeah, don't try to be a hero and show up and show everybody work you come in.
And a lot of times that is what you see is you get the people that say, I'm okay, I can make it to work. Yeah, well, it's the best thing for the community and for the people that you work with to be able to make it to work. Sometimes that discretion is a better part of valor. So wash your hands, stay home if you're sick, and get your flu shot, so that you can protect yourself.
Yeah. And we're also encouraging more and more that children and youth get flu shots as well. We think so much that it's the older folks that really need it, but from a public health standpoint, if you look at where the flu is really being spread, it's really among the kids. They're wonderful reservoirs of infection.
Little tiny vectors of disease.
They go to daycare, they
bring
things home, they give it to mom and dad and grandpa and their brothers and sisters and such. So we really are encouraging, that's one reason why we've been having more and more of the family flu clinics, is so families can take advantage of this.
What is the treatment protocol for the flu if you do?
It depends. I mean, most of the time, because they do have the availability of Tamiflu. So the first thing that you want to do is if you actually feel like you have the flu, that you have fever, body aches, all those symptoms, go see your medical provider because they're going to be able to treat you appropriately for what you have. They have rapid tests for the flu so that they can verify that, and then generally they'll treat you with Tamiflu, so that it won't necessarily stop the virus or stop you getting sick, but it will help to mitigate some of the symptoms and not make it as severe.
And what only because we're going to have to get out of here. We'll have to ask you to leave before you get the shot. And believe me, we're getting it off the air after the show. As far as the difference between a bad cold and the flu, what are things that you look for? Say, oh, that must be the flu. Is it a fever or what is it?
Fever and body aches are generally the things that you're looking for as far as flu, what they call influenza-like illnesses. So if you have a fever and you have body aches, that's generally something that's different than a regular cold virus. The malaise, the just not wanting to get up and move.
Yeah.
When you've had the flu, you really feel like you've been hit by a Mack truck.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, and that is something that people say, oh, I had a touch of the flu. No, when you've had the flu, you're not going to feel like doing anything for about a week.
Yeah.
You are sick.
So I saw more of the Olympics last winter than I care to remember, and that was because my body was exploding. I mean, it was like my throwing up everything, but I couldn't even. They said, try a teaspoon of water, as well as all the other symptoms. I was like, finally, they did say that's probably we better hit you with Tamiflu.
Right.
But I will say though, and no offense to any doctors out there, but boy, if you have a good PA in that office, it's awesome. This woman in my doctor's office, she called me. How you doing? Is that helping? And the docs are great, but there's some awesome PAs that you really need to get to know. Now, before we give the shot, two quick things, only because we got like 4 minutes. Real quick, who should get the pneumonia shot and who should get shingles shot?
Really, the pneumonia shot, generally for those people who are approaching those, let's just say the elderly as far as that's concerned. So pneumonia shot are for those people generally that are getting into their 60s, would you say?
Or earlier if you've got a chronic disease.
Right.
Like
Okay.
if you have asthma, if you have a heart problem, diabetes, and certainly any of these chronic illnesses, it's wise to consider getting those.
Excuse me, is that a one-time shot, or do you need to get that?
They've got two different types of pneumonia vaccine, so and they have a kind of a protocol for which one you get first and all that. So for the pneumonia shot, really, once again, talk to your medical provider if you have the risk factors for pneumonia, and then they can really kind of guide you through which shot regimen to go through. Shingles vaccine, real quick. Shingles generally it's for
there's a new one out.
Had chickenpox, so you're going to need that, and that's one that I think a lot of people are really taking advantage of now. There has been shortages of the shingles vaccine here recently, and it's a 2-shot regimen. So you need to get 1 shot and then go back 6 months later to get the second shot. So that's one, they do have it available in a lot of places to be able to provide that. But once again, always talk to your medical provider so that they can guide you in the appropriate way.
These are very good preventive measures and really good preventive vaccines.
Yep, absolutely.
Speaking of preventive measures, I think
You ready? We better hit it, man.
I think we
Go for
can't
it.
avoid it any longer.
All right.
Here, let me get my straight out of Newington shirt in order here.
Now, is this really in the butt?
Yes, bend over.
Okay, good.
You got to show your best side.
And let's not try that. No, I remember that was always the fear. No,
There we
please,
go.
please. Yeah.
Good. She's washing her hands. That's a good sign.
I use the Corel, as you were asking about earlier.
I think now you will
right.
you will not be able to reach us over the desk. You need to be closer than that, right?
She's gonna
Okay,
come
I want you to be very careful because
This
got the wires.
obstacle course
Okay.
back here.
yeah, watch out for all the wires because
All right.
Yeah,
And Joe Trombetta has the camera right on me to catch every grimace.
Now, when you come into your doctor's office or into our clinic, we have you fill out a basic form that gives you your basic background information, age, obviously age, sex, where you live, that type of thing. But we also ask some basic questions, and that is, have you had a flu shot before? And if you have you had any kind of reaction to it? Are you allergic to eggs? Are you currently sick, particularly running a fever? Or have you had kind of one of the unusual neurological diseases called Guillain-Barré syndrome? And this is one that had appeared way back in the 70s when we began, with the mass vaccinations at that time for swine flu. And it's very rare, but occasionally some people might develop it. So certainly if anyone who's had a history, that's something that we would not recommend getting the flu vaccine. The vaccine that we're giving you is not a live virus. This is attenuated. This is essentially a dead virus. What this does, it's an antigen, and what it does is it fools your body into thinking that you've been exposed to the flu. So I'm going to go ahead with the mayor first here.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold it. Wait a minute. He's a Republican. You can't do it on the left. Okay, no, go ahead.
And we've already had our discussion about which arm you would prefer to have it in. And he's all set here.
You did it already?
You're all set.
I didn't feel a thing.
Yes, all that fear and that anxiety. And we kind of pride ourselves.
Where's my lollipop?
We kind of pride ourselves on moving people through clinic very fast.
They do. I've worked at the clinics. I've been through the clinics. I mean, you're in and out.
And I'm going to have you just kind of relax your arm there.
Yeah, relax.
That's great.
Is it over?
That's a big needle. Wow, I haven't seen one that big.
What I really love is when, they go, oh, look at the size of that needle. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, this is strange. You went left and I went right. We'll talk about this in town for a while. Okay. All right.
All right, we're all set there.
Okay, good.
So that's how easy it is to get a flu shot if you've never had one before. And really, I didn't even know Judy had stuck the needle in me.
I did. I'll get over it, though. I felt the needle before it touched my skin. No, actually, it wasn't bad at all. It's a very thin needle. And
it's in an expert hand.
And now, I think this is something where it takes how long to start building up something for us?
It will start building up your immunity. The antibodies are going to, within your body, are going to start, your immune system's going to build up those antibodies. So really, by the time full efficacy, you're looking about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Beautiful.
So
about 2 weeks.
Okay, because I'm actually going down to Mexico in about 2 weeks for a destination wedding.
So that's good.
Perfect, because of the plane and everything.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll be protected as far as that's concerned, and protecting everybody else as well.
Wow, it's good. Any other questions, Mr. Mayor?
No, I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you
for coming us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judy.
Judy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, now wait a minute. Don't move while you're wired.
Yes.
We have professionals here.
Yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to switch things around, sort of keeping the camera off of you.
Yeah, we're going to couple of people.
If the professionals in the back room wake up.
Yeah, she is okay. Judy's all right because she's not wired. She can go.
All right. Okay, what we're going to talk about while this transition is going on is the Newington Hunger Action Team fundraiser that's coming up on October 12th. 6:30 to 9 p.m. at Holy Spirit Church at the Father O'Connor Center. Tickets $15 in advance, $18 at the door. Now, the Hunger Action Team, we've had them on the show.
Yeah.
And this is an annual project of theirs. The proceeds are going to go to programs that the HAT team sponsors, the Got Lunch Newington Weekend Backpack Program. Got Lunch is a 10-week summer program that supplies groceries for lunches to families whose children receive free and reduced lunch in school.
Shh. We're doing a show. Shh. Okay, our camera people get a little excited.
Oh, they do.
They saw the needle.
Oh, uh-oh. And the backpack program supplies needy families with extra food for meals on the weekends during the school year. So it's going to be a wine and beer tasting. I went last year. It's very good.
At Father O'Connor Hall?
Yes. October 12th.
I hear the wine at the church is going to...
Oh, no, this is beyond that.
Beyond that, okay.
Friday, Friday, October 12th, starting at 6:30, going till 9. There's going to be refreshments. There's going to be a raffle. They're going to have gift baskets and gift certificates. So that's the 12th. And Don't forget, on the 13th, we've got the Oktoberfest at the Hartford Sangerbund.
Oh, that's right.
That's coming up
Oh, that's
from 1 to
fantastic.
9 p.m.
Oh, my gosh.
They're going to have live music, all sorts of German beer, great food. That's running from 1 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the big one, too, because it'll come on before our next show. It's the 15th annual Silent Auction Wine Tasting and Chocolate Challenge, sponsored by the Newington Chamber of Commerce.
Now, where's that one?
That one's going to be at the G. Fox Building again. A really nice venue.
That whole downstairs is like wide open, right?
Yes,
Yep.
and this year the Chamber's trying something new. They're selling exclusive seating up on the mezzanine level as well, something to keep in mind. So again, that is the Saturday, November 3rd, starting at 6:30.
November 3rd, okay. So yeah.
Which is before our next show. So I did want to bring that up. If you wanted to get tickets for that, contact the Chamber office. You can contact them at 860-666-2089 or email them at office@newingtonchamber.com.
I'm just glancing through here.
Are you checking your email?
No,
on a station time?
No, I just wanted to point out, because I think this unfortunately happened after our last show. We lost Fran Griffin, and from her husband John Griffin.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Nancy
yes, I saw that.
Nancy and Betsy, and Fran was a tremendous volunteer. She did a lot for the animals, especially for the Connecticut Humane Society, who's going to be coming on next. But our prayers certainly go out to the Griffin family, and they had a wonderful memorial for her up at the Hawthorne Casamia, which is a great place out there on the Berlin Turnpike. So I don't want to forget that. But she, oh my gosh, this woman did so much volunteer. So to John and to Nancy and to Betsy and the whole family and friends, God bless. Our prayers are with you. All right, so now anything else going on that we need to be aware of around town? No, we're good?
We're good. Just remember the flu clinics.
Okay.
All right. Well, you and I don't have to go anymore.
No, we're all set.
We got our shots.
All right, now we have our next guest who's coming in here, and it's Linda from the Connecticut Humane Society. And how do you say the last name?
Panikowski.
Panikowski. I wrote it correctly. I just want to make sure I got it right.
There you go.
Perfect.
And you've been a volunteer with us at the Connecticut Humane Society for how long?
For the past 11 years.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's quite some time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, thank you. I've been involved up there as a volunteer for quite a while, and we've seen each other at different events.
Yes.
And one specifically, which is a good reason why you came to us tonight, we've got our gala coming up, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. It's going to be October 27th from 6 to 10 p.m. at the North House in Avon.
Okay, and this is Diamonds in the Rough.
That's right.
RUFF. I think we actually have a little bit of artwork in the back there that we can show. We don't have a monitor out here. Generally, what we try to do is look at what you're looking at, but tonight we're not having.
So we don't know where Joe Trombetta is pointing the camera right now.
Hopefully, he's pointing it at us. But so tell us a little bit, if you could, Linda, about the gala. I know you've got some notes there, but you can feel free to refer to those. But what do we expect to find at the gala?
Oh, sure. Well, the gala is going to be it's going to be a really nice dinner. Some great live auctions, silent auction, dancing. Tickets are $90 per person, and the proceeds will benefit the medical needs of the pets that are in transition at our shelter. We do have 7 full-time veterinarians at our shelter. And we are the only rescue in the state that has a maternity ward, and I'm fortunate enough to be one of the volunteers.
Oh, really?
In the maternity ward, yeah. It's
Okay, so tell us what you do in the maternity ward at the Connecticut Humane Society.
Well, we take care of the kittens, the newborn kittens, as well as their mothers. Sometimes we have to bottle feed the babies, but it's just a lot of cuteness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So those really little ones, like, are those ones that just the mothers are still there, or sometimes are they abandoned as little babies like that?
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes they're abandoned, so we would bottle feed them. And, the youngest that I've worked with was 4 days old, so their eyes aren't even open yet.
Oh,
It's
wow.
too cute.
So you have a special maternity ward there at the Connecticut Humane
That's
Society to
correct.
deal with that stuff. And what kind of other things do you do up there?
Well, I work primarily with the cats.
Yep.
I'm a cat cuddler first and foremost.
Yeah.
I also am an ambassador, so I go out and do community events.
Like this?
Yes,
Yeah.
like this one. And I'm on the gala committee, the development committee, and I'm on the first squad, which is the advanced feline behavioral training program for the cats that have a little bit more behavioral challenges.
Yeah.
We work with them to make them more socialized and adoptable.
Now, Mr. Mayor, do you have any pets at your house?
No.
No cats, no dogs?
No,
Well,
no.
we've got a surprise for you. There's a Great Dane we're bringing in for the mayor.
Right. No, the lady friend has a menagerie, and I help take care of them.
Okay,
So
okay,
that's,
good. So, yeah, I know.
Yes.
We've got Abby here tonight, and Abby
Yes.
was a surrender from the Connecticut Humane Society, and her owner, you've seen Abby on the show. She was on
Yes.
earlier. Her owner was military and being shipped to Afghanistan.
Oh.
So they had to surrender Abby at 2 years old, and I've been blessed to have her with me. She's about 8 now, and she's really good as long as she's in here. She's hurt Vicky physically a couple of times. No, she just has a tendency in master control to get barking. All right, so take us a little bit through the evening at the Diamonds in the Rough. What do we expect to find there? The North House is gorgeous, or what kind of, do we have auctions going on? What's going on over there?
Yeah, we'll have auctions. In the beginning, there'll be like a cocktail hour, and then after that, there's dinner. Sometimes there'll be like a video,
Yeah.
and we'll be presenting the humanitarian award that night. And then we'll also have the live auctions, which is always really exciting.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah, it gets crazy. Yep.
Absolutely. So we've got some really nice auction items for that. And then there'll be some dancing and socializing afterwards, too.
And we've had Renee Danino, who's going to be our Humanitarian of the Year, right?
That's right, yep.
She's done
Great.
a lot of work for the community, working with pets, and she's with iHeartMedia. And you'll see her sometimes on Channel 3 doing the weather.
Yeah.
And sometimes she's with The River and 92.5 and every other station over there. I think a little bit of Kiss, whatever they need. She's with the whole iHeart group over there. Saw her yesterday when we did Raise a Paw against leukemia.
Oh, great.
She was out the night before that with Dog Star Rescue. So Renee, congratulations. It's been a long time coming. Last year, Heidi Voigt from NBC 30.
Yes.
Because she does a lot. Then let's see, we had Jill from NBC 30.
Yeah.
No, from NBC, from the Today Show. Oh, I'm spacing on her name
Yeah,
now.
Joe.
Rappaport.
Yeah, that's right.
Joe, she was amazing. And before that, Bill Berloni,
Berloni,
the
yeah.
animal trainer. But it is a great, great night. And that video is something, though. When you really see the video, there's, oh my gosh, I'm always amazed because the work that you folks do up there, and I know in many cases, like right now, we have a cat that's being quarantined in our executive director's office because it has some sort of wound or something that they're concerned about, and they don't want to let it out in the general population for maybe 6 months or so. And it's got to live with Gordon Willard because he has the correct shots, and so the cat's living in there. But some of these surgeries, I mean, what about the one with what was there, a Labrador Retriever or a Black Lab or something that had some sort of eye problem? And I guess, one eye was bad, and then the other eye went bad, and he had to go with a halo around his head.
And
the
great
color
thing
of shame.
what they'll do is they'll have special volunteers that will take certain animals that need specialty care up to like Agawam, up to different hospitals where they need specialists. So we really, that's where we get our Diamonds in the Rough slogan because they come in so rough, and then we help to shine them up and make them the diamonds that we really know they are.
He's getting a call. Somebody wants tickets right now to the Diamonds in the Rough. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest difference. So many people talk about their animals that are rescues, and they say, well, I went to this particular Petco, and I met up with some people there. I went to a different event, and they had dogs up for adoption. And a lot of people do some wonderful rescue, and they bring them up from down south and everywhere else. But with us, and I do only because I'm just so used to it, and you and I are working on the gala together. The difference is when we bring an animal in, we rehabilitate. We do the rescue. We rehabilitate, and then you come and adopt out from us after we've done that.
That's right.
And there's a lot of animals that people may have given up on a long time ago, and you folks never do.
And when you get a pet from us, they're always move-in ready. So they have their vaccinations, their spay-neuter, their microchip, all their deworming. Any kind of medical problems that they have, we do address those so that you're getting. We stand behind our pets at the Humane Society.
Yeah.
And you also screen the potential adopters as well.
Yeah, the adoption interview takes about 45 minutes to an hour to make sure that, the idea is we want to get the right pet into the right home at the right time with the right owner so that it's, a perfect lifelong connection.
Do you do home visits for potential adopters before letting an animal go, or no?
Those we don't.
I think we're dealing with such a volume. Last year, 4,000 or 5,000 animals were adopted out from just our 3 shelters, and in most cases, we try to err on the side of the animal because we really do want. But I will say that 45 minutes and all the questions that are asked, because sometimes the process of doing things online and having somebody go to your house when you're moving that many animals, we try to do it all in one place. As somebody, it's like buying a car. Sometimes you could be tied up there for, a while, and that's because we have to be so careful. Except with me, they let me have Abby, and they didn't do a background check.
Well, they let Abby sniff you out and make sure you were okay. I'm sure that was. Yeah,
between her doing my background check and them, it was pretty good.
As long as she didn't bite you in the ankle, they knew you were okay.
Now, do you have animals at home?
I do. I have 4 cats, and one of them was adopted from the Humane Society. His name is Tom, and he's a special needs kitty because he only has 3 legs. But he gets around just as well as the ones with all 4 legs. So he's just really great. Yeah.
Hey, he's taking another call. I'm glad we got. I'm going to have to remind you at the start of the show. You're as bad as I am. Sometimes mine goes off. But it's just all about miracles and really amazing rehabilitation. And the last thing you want to do is when you have an animal and they have to go through that process, because the last thing you want to do is pretty traumatic when they come there. So if you go out and they have to come back again, that's even more so for the animal.
Yeah. And one thing that I wanted to mention too, that's really exciting, and we have a clinic for people who are outside the shelter that want to bring their pets in. It's a low fee clinic at the Fox Memorial Clinic. And basically it's open to the public. They can inquire about appointments. Our phone number's on the website. It's 1-800-452-0114. They do vaccination clinics and things like that. So we like to take care of people too, not just pets, and that's one of the ways that we do that at the Humane Society.
Yeah, and the Diamonds in the Rough is the 27th of October? I better make sure I'm there.
You're going to be busy all month.
Oh yeah, I've already been busy through September. Why not? To keep going with all the stuff here in town.
All the way through Thanksgiving, then you get into Christmas shopping, then New Year's Eve.
Don't push it. It's flying by so quickly, I don't want to panic yet. Now, we've got, is there a Barktoberfest that's coming up? Have we got one? I know from time to time that we have done those, but you can always go to cthumane.org and find out more about the different things that we have going on there. We did a Yappy Hour the other night.
Yeah,
that was great.
Right. Yeah.
Now, tell us about the antique tie-in with the Hartford Antique Show.
Yes, we're teaming up with the Antique Dealers Association of America and the Historic Deerfield Antique Show. We are doing this exclusive antique show at the Hartford State Armory October 19th from 6 to 8 p.m., the 20th from 10 to 5, and Sunday the 21st from 10 to 4. There's a special preview party on Friday, which is from 6 to 8, and the tickets for that are $85. General admission to the show on Saturday and Sunday will be $15, and all of the admission, the admission fees that goes to help the medical needs of the pets.
Yeah, that's it. Look, I love that picture. Look at that. Oh my gosh. And the other thing is too, I think what's important to point out is the fact that the animals that we had, there was a time when people said, "Oh, geez, I could never go there and walk away from those animals, and I couldn't take that." And they're all getting homes. We don't bring anything in unless we've done a good behavior check and we know it's getting adopted out.
Yeah.
And now we're at a time years ago, where that was the case, that there was a lot of euthanasia, and that's because there were more animals than there were people to take them, and you couldn't let them roam all the time. And now it's the opposite. Now we have a hard time, finding them. That's why we have to rescue down south. I think you should try. Did you ever have an animal?
Oh, yeah.
What'd you have?
Max the Labrador.
Oh, really?
I had Max the Labrador, and then he up and died on me one morning.
Oh, really?
That was tough, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's tough when you go through that. There's a Dog's Last Will and Testament that Eugene O'Neill wrote. And for those of you who may have lost an animal, it's powerful to read, and it's really, how that animal would want you to move on and get another.
Big tough guy barely made it through the movie Marley and Me.
Forget it.
Forget that. Boy,
wouldn't do that at all. So we're pretty well set for October. Anything else there that you want to throw in that we should be aware of that's going on at the Connecticut Humane Society?
If you're interested in adopting an animal, you can always just go to the website, cthumane.org. And, if you have any questions about any upcoming events, and if you have any interest or questions about volunteering, also go to our website. There's a little tab that says Get Involved, and it will tell you all the volunteer opportunities. They change weekly, so, if you don't see something you like, something's guaranteed to come up soon enough. So, and, believe me, it's worth every minute. The more I do, the more I want to do. People ask me all the time, how can you do this? It'd be so hard for me. And I say, how can I not?
Yeah,
I love it.
And keep your dogs and cats up to date with their vaccinations.
That's right.
Since we had our vaccinations, I mean, the same thing happens for pets too. I mean, there's feline distemper as well as canine distemper. There's rabies for the dogs. I don't know if there's a rabies vaccine for cats or not.
Yes, there are. We are required to have it.
And, yes, it costs money, but take your pet to the vet once a year.
Oh, yeah.
For the checkup, and perhaps even more frequently as your pet ages. Because just like people, the older you get, the more things there are to go wrong.
And I've been going up to Dr. Haynes up at Hartford Vet for many, many years. He's also on our board of directors.
Oh,
and he said at one point, somebody in the office said, Steve, maybe one time you make an appointment before you come in, Because I'm a panic guy. I'm like, can you feel this? I'm feeling this. What do you feel? And poor Abby is like, there you go again. But it's better to be safe.
That's right.
And also the vaccinations and certain things you have to have, every couple of years, some things just once a year. But I always lose the certificates. So I always go back and ask them for another copy. I don't know how I lose them all, but it is so important. Was there something in particular? You say you've been with them for 11 years. What was it that first brought you through the doors to want to be a volunteer there? I mean, that's just did something happen, or just something that you had the desire to do?
Well, I think it was after I got my first cat. The strange thing is, when I was growing up, I was terrified of cats. I mean, none of my friends can believe that, but I got one of my cats, Jerry, who had passed away from cancer a couple years ago, but he kind of spurred that onto me because I really started to appreciate the human-animal bond and the connection. I just, I was so happy that I was able to help him by bringing him home. I'm like, how can I help more animals? So that was the way that I found the Humane Society to do all the volunteer work that I do.
And, I think we have, oh my gosh, I have somewhere close to 500 volunteers between the three shelters.
500, yes.
And we're always, always looking for volunteers. And the plain fact of the matter is all the jobs aren't glorious. They're not all, they're not all walking dogs and cuddling kitties. A lot of times there's a lot of grunt work that has to be done there. And we had the volunteer luncheon recently. And when you look around that room and see all the people that foster,
yeah.
I mean, that bring an animal into their home and foster like that are just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'd have trouble giving them back.
I
was a foster.
But something that's usually not a problem if you get so attached to them you want to keep them. We have papers for you to sign.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's wonderful. So the gala again is October 27th.
Yep.
North House out in Avon. That's the old Avon
Old Farms.
Yeah, the old Avon Old Farms.
Corner of 44 and 10.
Yep. That was empty for a long time, and they brought it back to life with the North House.
Yeah, you can get tickets at cthumane.org.
And that's not a bad price because I know the food's fantastic. The silent auction items are nice.
It's a night to remember.
And the video will go right to your heart. I mean, we had a little one come in the other day that unfortunately, fortunately maybe, the before and after you wouldn't believe it. We couldn't put it on TV here, but I will tell you this was an animal that was found stranded wandering around in the Target parking lot in Newington, and this didn't look close to a dog. I mean, this just looked like a bundle of ruffled up fur and then wandering along. And I don't know if we still have Myrna today or not, but she was, when they cleaned her up, oh my God, what a beautiful little white fluffy dog. But unfortunately, somebody had, given up where we don't give up.
Perfect example of a diamond in the rough.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. And that's really what it is. A lot of times we see that, and sometimes people, are just too cruel. So, and then when's the Antique show again?
The Antique show runs from October 19th to the 21st.
All right, terrific. All right, and Linda, thank you so much for coming in.
Yes, thank
You
you.
can hang there for a minute, and don't go anywhere because they're going to probably pull some wires out of you any second. So just
And disconnect you from the reality.
we can. There it is, right there.
We can remind people too. Don't forget, coming up. The graphic is up. You got town council meeting coming up on October 9th.
Oh, really?
Yeah, working on the agenda tomorrow. We had to amend the schedule posted with the town clerk because we made a mistake and actually had the meeting down for October 11th, which was not right. But it's October 9th. Next day, the 10th, we got town hall renovation, dealing with gymnasium configuration, and same night, town plan and zoning. Where the big thing is the housing project that's slated for Cedar Street, the old Crest Pontiac lot. They're continuing to deliberate on that.
They're talking about a housing project over there?
Yeah.
Oh, that could be beautiful. Nice location. Finally,
Well,
something
it's
there.
affordable housing, except there are issues. There are issues. Personally, I think there are better uses for the property, but it's not up to me. One other thing, too, if I can find it. Oh, yeah. October 18th, save that date. We're planning a public information meeting on the train station.
Oh, the old one down there by Cashway?
No, the new one we want to put on Cedar Street, where DOT is going to be out to do a program on it at the community room in the library. We'll be getting more details on that once it's firmed up, but right now the date is set for October 18th.
And they're looking at something on Cedar Street?
Yeah.
Can you give me an idea about where? Or,
across from the old Crest Pontiac area.
Really?
Yeah, because that's where the tracks are.
Okay, so like down that hill in the back there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, we don't have a train station. Berlin has one.
Yeah. Oh, that's something to see. Well, what about Newington Junction or whatever? We're going to preserve that little house?
That'll be there. DOT is taking a look at both sites and is leaning toward the Cedar Street, as am I. I think that's better located. It doesn't butt up against residential neighborhood the way Newington Junction would. So with the traffic and everything else, I mean, let's face it, Cedar Street traffic is not the greatest.
Boy, I tell you.
I don't want to be in a situation where we put something in that's going to generate more traffic up at the Newington Junction area.
Well, and it is getting tougher and tougher to get around town. It's I don't know what we can possibly do, but I will. There's something with some of these lights, and this has come up before, especially when you go from Maple Hill Avenue to New Britain by Public Market there.
Yep.
A lot of times if you're in that left lane, I don't know if you have to trip it a certain way or not, but sometimes...
I know exactly. You're talking the intersection there. Yeah,
it's like sometimes you're going,
you can get stop, read a book, you make a couple of calls.
What I've been doing is
run over to the Shell station, grab a soda, come back.
I go over to Giovanni's, I have a little something to eat.
There you go. I'll go to Elm Hill Pizza right next door.
Is the light still red? It's still red out there.
Hey, if they were smart, they'd do a car side delivery right
there. You're gonna have
Yeah.
it. You know what still amazes me though, and I gotta think that there's a better way to market. How many people come off that Berlin Turnpike and think they can do a left into McDonald's instead of just going another couple of feet and turning into the driveway?
I know.
A big no left turn.
Makes no difference. Makes no difference. I mean, and again, it's a question of allocating the patrol resources.
Yeah.
Do we want somebody sitting there?
No.
Do we want somebody looking for shoplifters or car thieves in the big retail spots? Just briefly, I know Gary Byron just last week has sponsored a program on thefts from motor vehicles. He had the police chief speaking. Dave Johnson of Geico Insurance spoke.
Yeah. Excellent.
And I spoke.
Yeah.
And it was an informative program. We actually had videos taken from surveillance cameras at a couple of houses showing the crooks going into the car.
Unbelievable.
And what it is the people leave their cars unlocked, which
Not only that,
sure makes things easy for the thieves.
and a lot of times they'll take that little key fob and throw it down in their glove box.
They'll leave that in there as well, and there goes the car.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to locking your car, taking the key fob with you, not leaving valuables out in plain sight, because these guys operating, they're looking in quick. They want to make it quick. They want to get in there, get something, and get out.
Yep.
And you're inviting them if your car door is unlocked.
Yep.
So.
I know. I've had them in my neighborhood, and nothing's worse than that you feel so violated when somebody gets into your car.
Oh,
Never mind your house, but if they just in your car and ripping through stuff. It's really, really bad.
Yeah.
Now, and real quick, how are we doing on Chick-fil-A? Is that still pretty much on target?
Yeah. The old. You had to ask me now. I can't remember whatever restaurant it was. Because come down, they're still working on it.
Oh yeah, that was Ruby Tuesday.
Ruby Tuesday.
So they're coming. So Chick-fil-A's coming.
Chick-fil-A's coming. Yes, sir. I thought I had something from the economic development.
Well, you go ahead and look. I'm going to thank our volunteers. Poke around there a little bit. Let's see. I want to thank our volunteers: John Donahue, Alan Schiller, Scott Allo, Robert Blank, Joe Trombetta, Vicki Rosenkrantz, Robert J. Blank, Linda that came in from the Connecticut Humane Society, also Judy Sartucci, who's the board chair of the Central Connecticut Health District, and the director of health from Central Connecticut Health District, Charlie Brown. So I want to thank you folks for coming in here. Your arm feeling all right?
Oh, I'm feeling fine. No, the one you got to watch out for is the pneumonia shot.
Oh, really?
Because you get that in the afternoon, and then about 2 in the morning, it feels like somebody hit you in the arm with a hammer.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
And another thing I wanted to point out real quick that I just found out over the last couple of days, if you're not on the bone marrow registry, you should look at that, because it's go to Be The Match, look that up. I think it's bethematch.org or .com, I'm not sure. But you swab a little bit in your mouth and you send it in. And then if you are a match, I didn't know this. It used to be a surgical procedure. It's not anymore. You go in and you sit for 4 hours, and they can hook you up like when you're given platelets, and you watch a couple of movies on Netflix, and you as one individual can save a life. And if you want to find out more, it's an amazing program. Be The Match. And if you are that match. Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. They always need help.
I thought they stick some sort of needle into your bone and sucked it out. But
no, not at all. It's very painless. Next show we're going to do on the 12th, right? November 12th?
November 12th, right. We realize it's when Veterans Day is observed. To the best of my knowledge, the town is still going to be having its Veterans Day service on November 11th.
And you know what we might want to do? Maybe we can, we'll talk and bring somebody in from the VA or something.
Sounds good.
Or bring a veteran in to talk or
Sounds
whatever,
good.
somebody from the memorials or whatever.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much.
Mr. Parker, always a pleasure.
Great seeing you.
Great seeing you.
I feel healthier already.
You should.
All right. For this edition of Talk to the Mayor, I'm Steve Parker. He's your Mayor, Roy Z., and we'll catch you next time, November 12th on NCTV 14. Good night, everybody.
Good night.